Okay, hey y'all. It's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video. Y'all, I really want to talk about this migrant thing again. It's got everybody heated. I mean, everybody heated, Democrats, Republicans alike. Um, but to piggyback off my last video, I just want to say this, you guys. I am not a mom that really cares to step in my daughter's drama. um, I do feel though that if you're dealing with girls that are close enough as the girls are in her friend group, I mean, if they are close, I mean, that's again, I do feel like in that phase, it would help parents to not get involved, right? But to I think sometimes it sucks when kids are at school and you cannot really see everything that's happening. Okay. And as parents, it's not my job. Like I said, it's not my job to come at the mom about her child's behavior. It's really my job to protect my kid as much as possible. Okay. So, meaning that my intent behind this was just to get the girls together. This kid she left a lot of stuff here. Just to get them together so that somebody who's, I guess, wise enough is the key. And I'm not saying that anybody else is not wise, but somebody who's wise enough can kind of see where things are going wrong, right? And where they're going right, and kind of support the children as they learn how to be friends. And I just don't see how that happens if adults are not, like, again, I get coaching your girls and telling them, hey, this is the right way. I do feel like it takes a village to be able to do that to some degree, right? And to ensure that when you have a group of girlfriends, like, again, I don't need to be friends with anybody. I just would like to know that, okay, if my kid is going to be hanging out with your kid, our values are similar, right? Meaning that you are doing the best you can to raise your kid. So, meaning that if the little girl was going to her mommy and said, hey, my daughter did X, Y, and Z, I can kind of gauge what her mom's going to say, how her mom's going to coach her through that process. And really, for me, it's not about, again, it was just about, for me, getting to know the child more. Because I feel like when you know where the child comes from, you can kind of get a better understanding of what's happening. And so if I'm like, hey, I want to meet you, again, it's on the adult, don't have to meet me. I just think that it would behoove adults sometimes to be cordial enough to sit down and meet. And I don't need to meet with you. Like, the girls want to go have fun. Let's go take them to go do something, right? Maybe I pay, but you bring your kid and we invite everybody. Maybe that's how I'll do it. And have my kid maybe plan like a birthday or something like that, and have my kid invite all of her friends. And so when she does that, I'll be able to get to meet all the parents. Like, there's many ways to do this. Okay. Um, all the little girls, they follow me because they think I'm pretty. So I naturally, that's why I say I know I could influence these little girls beyond what I think what I really know. Okay. Because they follow me and I can't help it. The little girls follow me and I'm like, why? Right? Where are your parents? So I just want to say that I don't get involved. Like I said, I don't really care. I do care, but I don't care, right? Because I could have easily got involved when my daughter came back and told me all the things she was being called and all that. But my daughter has good conflict resolution skills. I'm actually very impressed. And so she utilizes them. When she comes to me, it's usually to vent, it's usually to get it off her shoulder and really talk to somebody that she trusts. I let her talk. And then maybe I'll slip in some advice. But a lot of times my daughter already really knows how to approach the situation. Not saying that that's how she approaches the situation in person. I don't know. I'm not there. But at least when she's explaining it to me, she's already understood how she should move in that situation. So I don't really need, and I know my daughter well enough that I don't need to get involved with the girls' drama. But like I said, there's a way to positively influence the relationships that they have by having the girls hang out in a more, I don't want to say it's intimate with their parents. The parents, like, I know my kid. So I know if my kid is hanging out with another girl, she's going to be just as bossy, right? Maybe. And then I'm able to bring a level of fairness to the playing field. Like, well, maybe you were a little bit, maybe you didn't say this right. Maybe well, you stormed off and you sat. So I can give a little bit more feedback. And I know that it's wishful thinking, right? Because I do feel like parents should be a little bit more hands-on in that, especially when you've got girls that are close, but they don't really know how to maintain the closeness, if that makes sense. Um, I think that is doable as long as you're dealing with mature parents. Now, if you're dealing with a parent that's, oh, you did this to my kid and you did this. I know kids. I know all of the girls got some part to play in this shit, right? But again, I know the other little girl's mommy. I don't know this little girl's mom. And it is important when we're talking about values and how children are being raised. The little girl has displayed values that I don't support, right? So I mean, I guess for me, my mindset is I don't have to be, it's always about being indirect, right? It's indirect. I learn your mommy just by being around her. I can watch her mannerism. I ain't gonna be studying her, but I could tell how she may or may not interact with me, stuff like that, right? Maybe her attitude or whatever. I can read people pretty well. And if the little girl is saying, hey, look, I really want to be friends with your daughter, and I've already closed that whole door, right? That's not even an option anymore, right? Then at this point, it would only make sense for me to say, you know what, let me meet your mom, right? Let me meet her. Maybe you guys, we can go do some boba tea, go do some yoga. I don't know what these kids like. Whatever the fuck y'all like. The little girl told me, well, my mommy's not wealthy, baby. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plan a girls' day, and I'm gonna tell my daughter to invite whoever she wants, and I will pay for every little girl there. I just want to know, who is this little girl? Who are you? Because the black mama had no problem letting me know who she was, right? I'm just saying. The Spanish girl, even the other black mom has no idea who the Spanish girl's mom is. Like, none of us really know the mom. So again, it's one of those trust things where if I leave my kid with you, I need to know that my kid is in good hands. And again, the girls are going to fight. They're going to go back and forth. Like, that's cool. That's all right. But if I'm going to allow, and what I told my daughter this is, right? Because the other black girls move in schools. I said, listen, you've known this little girl since you guys were yay high. The reason why I close the door on the friendship is so it pulls away we got to separate the two. But my daughter understands this is not my enemy, right? I'm not mad at her. I'm not, but right now we need a break. It is what it is, right? You have that break, that need to follow her, that separation thing, that's not going to be an issue. Meaning that my daughter will be able to look at the relationship or the friendship from a more objective standpoint than just, oh, I really love her because I've known her my whole life and that's all I know. Like, no, right? So what I told my daughter was, still keep an open mind, but watch how she moves. Watch how she treats other people. Watch how she treats you. Be cordial. If she says hello, say hello back. If she smiles, smile back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have this animosity. Neither one of you do. but let her earn your friendship, because right now it's too much on rocky ground. It's too much. Let her show you that she's really wanting to be your friend. And then at that point, you guys have conversations about what you expect from that friendship. Meaning that we can be friends, but when you get mad, hey, just walk away from me or something. I would much rather you walk away than start saying all these nasty things that you're saying, because what I wanted to explain to the little girl, and again, it's not my place, this is a parent's place. What I wanted to explain to her is that when you get mad, you say things you don't mean. My daughter is learning this too. She's going through the same process, and they're both the same age. So from a mommy standpoint, right, I've got grace for the little girl too, because I understand she's a little girl. She's learning too, right? I just feel like moms, like, because again, I'm not as attached. Like, I feel like, and I could be wrong because I don't really hang out with other women like that, but I don't have no animosity with other women. I just know that I'm not too emotionally involved to where I really give a fuck. Like, so meaning that the mom and I may not know each other. You could sit all the way across the room while we watch your kid have fun with my kid, right? But you can bet your bottom dollar that whole time I'm watching your interaction with your kid. And I can tell whether or not you're actually doing your part as a parent or not. And that conversation does not have to come up. I don't need to come to you and be like, you're not doing your part as a parent. No, all it would do is confirm my reasoning for saying, you know what? I don't think this friendship is going to work out for both of y'all at this time. And maybe I did it the wrong way. Maybe giving my kid, telling the little girl, like, I would like to meet your mommy. I don't see that being wrong, especially if the little girl's open to talk. Like, she's talking to me. She's engaging in the conversation with me. And yeah, I'm gonna hold her accountable for her behavior because I'm a fucking mom, right? So yeah, when I said, oh, you're the little girl that's been calling my daughter names, you damn right. You're damn fucking right. Because don't act like I don't know who you are. And she knows exactly who I am. So I want this little girl to know I'm watching you too, right? But it's not really like I'm gonna do something to the little girl. You know, it's more so that the kid understands that there are other adults watching, right? Because when kids are by themselves and they out doing got kid shit, they do kid shit. But when they know that, hey, because another thing I try to instill in my daughter is when you leave the house, you represent me at all times. When you leave your daddy's house, you represent him at all times. It's the same thing for all these other little girls. So understand that I was not and it sucks because when I Googled it, I was like, well, damn, everybody on Google, except one reading I read, was like, well, you should stay out of it and stay out of it and did it. And I'm like, yeah, but these little girls are learning how to deal with this. And I think sometimes it would help if you get the girls together and so the parents can see how the children interact, right? And then it's not really a guessing game about, well, you know, my kid might have said this, but she really didn't say this. You're able to see in real time how your kid interacts with other kids. So if they go to Discovery Zone, or I don't even think that's around anymore, but if they go to, for example, Chuck E. Cheese or something like that, the skating rink or something, and we're parents, they're still young enough where you would be there, you're going to be there, that gives you a little bit more insight on how the girls interact. So that when they're in school and they're having those issues, right? And again, I know there's other ways to get this done. So I'm going to get it done. Trust me. But then you're able to give advice that can really help your child and the other kid, right? So I know that letting kids figure out their problems is, you know, that's the thing. I get it. I believe in that. I truly do. But I don't feel like this is the age. I feel like this is the age where you allow them to go through their shit. When things become a little bit too much, you also make that clear to your child. But my daughter's at an age where it's like, I can really get all you girls together. Maybe not at my house, because I don't want a bunch of girls in my house, but I can get them together And I'm inviting, that's why I want to meet the mom, is like, hey, can I, but maybe I'll have to do it so that the girl feels comfortable, because I want the child to feel comfortable. I'm not trying to scare the child, right? That's not my place. Like I told her, I understand why you felt how you felt the way you felt. I'm sure Angel's mom was just caring about all you girls, right? If you traumatize, you traumatize. Okay, that's fine. I understand. But then maybe the way to go about that is saying, you know what, we're going to the VR center and we're going to do invitations and we're going to send RSVPs out to all your friends. You can choose up to 3 girls, right? See if they show up. They're not at this age, they're not showing up without a parent. And in that phase, it's not my job to be mean. It's not my job to make anybody feel uncomfortable. For me, I'm a big kid. So I just want the girls to have fun. But I also want the girls to have fun in a space where they can have a little bit of guidance, right? Like a big sister kind of guidance, where it's like, okay, well, she's doing this. Okay, well, sweetheart, this is not how we go about this. This is how we do this, right? So I guess in my head, I feel like it's easier to do that when all parents are on the same playing field. We don't need to be friends, but I need to know that if something's happening, if your daughter's hanging out with my kid or my kid is hanging out with your kid, and for whatever reason, I need to know that you're going to approach my kid in a similar fashion that I would approach mine. And I don't need to teach you that. That's something that, again, when you study people, you know what parents really, what their value when you're really with, like when you're hanging out in that type of setting, you're able to see what their values are based upon how they talk to their kid, based upon how they treat their kid, based upon how they discipline their kid, right? That's all I need to know. That's why I was telling little girl, I'm not here to tell your mommy what happened. I don't know what happened. I know what you have said, and I know that because of via text messages, right? Daughter showed me everything. But outside of that, I'm not here to be hard on you. Just know I'm watching you. There's another adult watching. There's several now at this point. So I hope that I made my point. Like, I'm not a helicopter mom, right? I do believe my daughter should have a level of independence. But I do believe that adults can help to make a world of difference, especially with little girls. I cannot help a little boy. I don't know shit about boys. But little girls, I know what they go through. I know what their thoughts are. I know why they're sassy and mean. I know how hard it is to control my emotions, right? I know how hard it is not to say things I don't mean when I'm upset. Like, I know everything these little girls are going through. I can put myself in all of their shoes. So that's where it's like, dang, man, because I don't want to be the cold-hearted mom, but you won't be getting my kid mixed up in no nonsense either. You feel me? I can't control you, but I can control my kid. You get what I'm saying? So if the little girl wants to be friends, and I get she's uncomfortable in the sense that I don't really, because she probably really doesn't want me hanging out with her mom. She don't want me yelling at her mommy, right? She don't know. All she knows the other black mom went off, right? So for me, it's like, maybe I should try a different approach. I'm still going to get what I said I want done accomplished, because like I said, it would be nice. Something about me, I just know I can help these little girls. I've been saying this for quite some time. I mean, for years now, because I know these girls, like, they watch me, and they're not the only girls. There's other little girls that my daughter hangs out with that look up to me. Like, I don't know how to fucking explain it. I go on all the field trips. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the cool mom. So I'm like, well, maybe I could be a cool mentor. That's all I want to do. I think I could really help young girls at this stage, because if they learn now, they will learn it for the rest of their lives. They will know how to, even if they don't stay friends, they will know, okay, maybe I did this the wrong way. Maybe I should have said, they will learn. I just feel like little girls in this phase, it would help to have support, and not support that is biased against their like their own kid, because my kid gets told all the time, I already know who you are, right? So it's not me being biased, but me understanding all the girls, understanding their feelings, their emotions, and then really helping them to have that in a positive, like a more healthier, like being able to do it in a healthy way, right? I just feel like obviously girls aren't able to do it on their own. This idea that kids will be kids and they do kid shit, like that's cool. But where are the adults that come in and say, you know what, we're going to do a girls' day. We're going to do a girls' group, whatever. I don't know what that looks like because we didn't have that when we were growing up either. But we had things like etiquette school, right? We had camps. We had things where adults were always kind of involved without being involved. Do you understand me? So we had adults guiding us. So our friendships didn't look like in fourth grade calling each other whores and shit. Because I didn't even know what a whore was in fourth grade. The fuck? I didn't call nobody a bitch till I got older. You know what I mean? So I do believe that some of this is, yes, the kids need to figure it out. But I also think that when you have girls that you know really love each other, and you know when the girls like each other, right? But they don't really know how to be friends with one another. It kind of helps to have another woman presence, like a woman getting them together. Let's go do the VRK. Let's go sit down. Let's have some pizza. Let's talk. I don't need to talk about your problems, but let's talk. Let's build that bond outside of school so that when y'all go to school, you recognize that is my friend. That's not just a girl from school. That's my friend. And maybe I just feel like maybe that helps them to connect. I don't know. But I just want to clear that up, y'all. I ain't never stepped in the middle. I ain't never talked to none of these kids about this shit until today. And that's only because of the dynamics of the conversation. And I've been wanting to talk to this little girl's goddamn mama, okay? And again, not to cuss her out, not to be mean, not to even bring up the shit, because I really don't care. But to get to know the mom, even know what she looks like. Like, I don't know shit about, I just know my daughter hangs out with this little girl. The little girl's begging me to be her friend. And I'm like, yo, I don't know, because I don't know who be raising you, right? No shade, but it's the truth. Okay. Anywho, though, I wanted to move on topics. I just want to clear that up so y'all ain't thinking, oh, she's just, no. I'm not ever the mom that's gonna come at a kid incorrectly. That's number one, because I don't really do that. And then two, I don't really want to fight the mom. I don't want to like that's not what I'm here for, right? What can we do to help these girls be able to move forward? And I think a lot of that is getting them together outside of school so that they understand, because my friends, like when I was growing up in school, the people I was most loyal to are the people that I knew outside of school. My cousins were my cousins. So when we was in school, they was my cousins. You understand me? They were friends, but they was my cousins. So nobody was coming up against me and my cousins. And I could be mad at my cousins, but I ain't letting nobody jump them. I'm not leaving them in a fight, stuff like that. Because again, I don't know. But I understand what the mom, I don't know if the little girl brought it to her mom. I really don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I know that the topics, obviously the little girls talk, they go back home, they tell their mamas, and I'm sure that the mama done told her that at some point. Um, but I would love to get the girls together. And I think the way I'm gonna have to do that is maybe setting something up and then inviting all the girls. And then we can figure it out. The moms are, if we're mature enough and everybody's as strict as the mom of the little girls be saying, then we really are all on the same page. Right. And I don't want no little girl to feel like I'm like she's in trouble. Like that's not what I'm here for, bro. I am gonna call you out on calling the little girl whore, just like I would be calling them little kids out for cussing and shit on that goddamn. But that's not my place, right? So I won't. But I'm just saying, I do feel like as a mom, there's certain mommy things that I'm gonna do, and I don't give a damn whose kid it is, you know. Um, but I also recognize that there's a level of tact that you have to do it with. And you really, this is not a situation for me, oh, they got in a fight, so let's talk. Like, I don't give a damn about that. Because again, if your kids are hanging out outside of school, right, and the parents have a level of trust amongst each other to where as they get older, hey, can I go hang out with Ayana at her mom's house, or can I hang out with, you know, the other little girl at her mom's house? There's a level of trust there to where it's like, okay, yeah. So when you get in a fight, this mom isn't just kicking you out and you ain't got nowhere that she gonna bring you home type shit, you know? Like, I just, I don't know, right? There need to be a PTA for moms or something. But I feel like the kids are growing closer and they're fighting. It's like, because they don't really know how to deal with each other, really, but they love each other. And the parents don't even know each other. Like, that's kind of weird, right? So I just, you know, I'm going to make that happen. I got to make it happen. I don't know how. I know how, but I'm going to set up a date and I will pay for everybody. Because the little girl told me, well, my mommy's not wealthy. And I'm thinking, well, damn, I must look wealthy to people because people really think I got some money like that. I'm like, neither am I. So if that's the case, Pumpkin, that's fine. Like I told her, it's fine. I will set something up. I will have my daughter do it old school, send everybody invitations, RSVP, and we'll do it like that. I still get what I want out of the deal, which is meeting your fucking mom like I asked. And you kids can feel like y'all are not in trouble because that's not what this is about. This is not for me to attack anybody because I know my kid plays a part in it too. I just want to see how she interacts because the teachers are always seeing that shit. I want to see it. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair. But let's get on to this topic, y'all, because this shit has been pissing, excuse my language. That's the wrong word. I'm sorry. As a lady, I should not be cursing. I have said I'm going to stop cursing, but I don't know how to sometimes. But when it comes down to these illegal immigrants, okay, because that's what they are, and they're not even really immigrants, they're illegal aliens. Let's, you know, I just want to, we attach words to shit that really soften what it is. And I want to be very clear. What you see happening right now is a big deal. It's a fucking big deal. Okay. And what I've noticed is you've got all sides right now saying, you know what, this shit ain't cool. These people need to go back where they came from, right? They need to go. And it's so sad because as Black people, you know, we were them people. They need to go back to where they come from. Although half of us come from the United States, right? And that's true, right? I've got probably more Native American in me than anything. But, you know, that's another topic for another conversation. Okay. You have these folks coming across the border and they're coming across illegally. And apparently what it seems like is our border patrols are not allowed to do anything about this. They just have to acknowledge that they came. And that's why these folks look for border patrol so they can now enter the country, you know, maybe not legally, but I say it's kind of, I don't want to say legally because you'll notice it's not legal. But it's something with them when they see a border patrol, like they really come in and they're looking for these border patrol people for a reason. Okay. I think the way the system is set up is wrong. I think that they need to really go in and correct it. This situation with these police officers, let me tell you something. Okay, because I was watching another TikTok video where these fuckers destroyed like a whole shelter, right? And what it tells me, you're dealing with grown ass men. Grown ass men. These are not little teenage boys. And even then, at that point, when we're talking about aggression and anger and strength, teenage boys are technically like grown ass men. Okay, in that regards. So you have these men. It's not like it's women and children. These are grown men coming to this country. Coming to this country in the middle of fucking winter, complaining about having to sleep outside when it's cold, talking about this is not the American dream. I want to say something, okay? Because the American dream is not where people get to come here to this country and then get everything for free and not have to do shit to earn it. That's like what these people think is the American dream. They got that shit all the way backwards. That's number one. I've already told you guys how upsetting it really is. And it's funny because I just heard my daughter's father talking about it in the car. He was loud as shit. Okay. Loud. I could hear him from the door, from the car door all the way to my front doorstep talking about these damn migrants. And you got people talking to him about it. So people are really getting pissed off. And I mean people of all types, Democrats and Republicans alike. Now, I want to say something, because there's a lot of people in places like Chicago. I don't know what happened here in Denver because I don't recall this. Well, maybe I need to go back and look at what the initial argument, like the campaign was of Governor Polis, right? Because I don't know I don't follow Democrats like that. Like I really don't. The only reason why I followed them in the 2020 election is because of the severity of what was going on, right? And the severity, you had Trump saying certain things, so they had no option but to say certain things. So you had a lot of stuff coming out in that election in terms of what the Democrats support, what they believe in, and kind of where they're at in their thought processes in terms of politics, right? And one thing that they did say was that they were going to open the borders. Like this was a thing. This was a real conversation that had been had. And so it's baffling to me that people are shocked. They're like, well, why are they bringing them here? And I'm like, because that's what you voted in. You got people in Chicago talking about, well, we voted in this person and, they supposed to have our backs, but they said they were going to do all of this. I think that's where people are really missing the mark. Like, it's not like the Democrats came in power and then they decided to do all this. They told you this was what they were going to do. They were very honest. The only time they started backtracking was at the time of the election, because obviously as you get closer to the election, now they're realizing, oh, people don't like this, so now we got to hone it back a little bit and try to backtrack on what we said and backpedal. That's it. It ain't nothing new. So it baffles me that people are surprised that the people they voted in power are the ones who have committed this issue and helped to create this issue, right? And then you got these folks, well, why would they do that? They said they would. Like, why did you vote for them? It's not like at some point, the American people have to take accountability for our choosing to stay ignorant. You have to. Because you voted for this motherfucker and you mean to tell me you didn't know what he was going to do? So why'd you vote for him? Because he was Democrat? Well, if that's not the most ignorant thing I've ever heard in my life. See, because what they were telling people like me in 2020 was that we were coons because we did our research, because we knew what was being said. We listened and we said, nah, homie, we don't want that. Now everybody's feeling sorry for themselves. So now everybody want to vote for Trump. Even the homeless people are like, we voting for Trump. Because everybody realizes, damn, we made a mistake. But it took us to have to go through it the hard way to realize we made a mistake, even though these folks told you what they were going to do. So it's really not on them. You can't it's weird when people are like, well, we voted in this person. We voted them in and this is how they do us. Well, that's why they did you like that, because you voted them in. You said yes to that policy. And even if you didn't know that was a policy they support, it's on you to do your research before you give somebody your vote. It's that simple. It really is not that complicated. But see, folks were so convinced that Trump was so racist, right? Trump's such the problem that I'm a coon if I say, well, listen, the lesser of the two evils in this situation is not the person that's in office right now. I'm a coon. That's what Black people told other Black people who understood what knew better. We're coons. That's what I got called. I'm a coon. I don't support the Black people because I don't want to defund the police. Huh? I'm not one of them. This is what Black people, the same Black people sitting around crying about this migrant crisis at the magnitude that they are, said the black people, again, who knew better, who were more educated, who understood what was being said at the time it was being said, and said, hey, look, we ain't going for this shit. So now you got a president that should have been, I just don't understand why he's still president. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it, but that's fine. Whatever. You got a border crisis that has really shook the entire country at this point. It's not just a Republican conversation anymore. This has gone beyond you got the issues on CNN. You got Al Sharpton talking about these issues, and he's part of the fucking problem. Do you understand me? So that's how bad these issues really, really are. So now you got a video that's going viral where these migrants, and I'm telling you now, I'm starting to realize these men that are coming over here, they came to destroy. That's it. And they probably destroy a hell of a lot in their path. When you look at other countries and you see how these folks are acting in other countries and how much they are destroying, and I mean physically destroying other countries. You mean to tell me that these men can be civilized? Like, if you're taking in a bunch of men, what are these men gonna do? Like, that's what's the most scariest to me about a lot of this. It's not women and children. I mean, it is, but it's more men than anything. Grown ass men. What are they doing coming to this country? What was so bad that they couldn't rebuild their country and do right in their country that they coming over here? And then they're starting to show, because the more pressure you put on these people, they're going to start to show their true colors. So now you got folks beating up cops. And what's so sad is sickening, I ain't even about to say sad, what's sickening about that situation is them same men who were caught on camera beating up police officers got out on a PR bond. Meanwhile, you got black men who do the same thing but are shot and killed for what they do. You got black men. I'm not saying it's just black men, because there's plenty of other people. There's white men that, assault cops too, believe it or not. There are Spanish men that assault cops too, believe it or not. But black men is what you predominantly hear about, right? So you got black men sitting in the pen right now for assaulting a cop. But these fucking migrants, these illegal immigrants, these people who were not supposed to be here, the illegal aliens, excuse me, they get out on a PR bond because you trust that they're going to be here? What judge thought that was okay? Because what it really does, I want to be very clear what that just did, right? Because now any person that puts their hands on a cop, so is it different rules for the illegal immigrants in America? Americans? Is that what's happening? Or are we letting all assault on a police officer go on a PR bond? Because if I was a black male and I got charged with a police offense for assaulting a police officer, I would really feel some type of way. I would have a bone to pick about that. Because how is it not okay for me, and I'm an American citizen, but you allow an illegal immigrant to come, or illegal alien to come to this country, that gets so far up north to New York? So that's an intent. That means they're intended to be here. Because if you wasn't, you would have been stayed somewhere where you can hurry up and get your ass back over that damn border, not be going to no goddamn New York. You beat up cops. To the point where the cop is on the goddamn ground, right? And I don't know how, I don't know how bad he was beat up or whatever, but it sends a signal. This sends a message. Like, again, y'all have to understand, you've got a generation of black men who don't give a fuck. And all I'm thinking is, what message does that send to the young men that don't give a fuck? Because, see, right now, the cops still have a level of authority. They really do, even though they don't really think it. And people are like, where are the cops? Things are changing. The system sucks, all that jazz. there's still a level of authority that is happening, right? Because black men could get way worse than what they are right now. Right. And what I mean by worse is when you see these kids ramping through Walgreens and they stealing everything. You mean to tell me that watching these cops get beat up and it going viral and them getting a PR bond, y'all mean to tell me that does not send a message? What it also says is these illegal immigrants that are coming here, right? And I don't mean to just put that on black men, because again, black men are not the only people that are out of control right now. That's just the facts. They're not the only group and race of men that are out of control, right? I just think different groups do different things. Okay, let's put it that way. They're not the only ones that have assaulted a police officer. They're not the only ones that have running rampant. And it really ain't all of, I'm just saying. The ones we hear the most about are black men. That's a fact. So what does that say? If I'm sitting in the pen and I put my hands on a police officer and now I'm in prison for assaulting a police officer, and I see this clip on the news and then I find out that these kids got a PR bond, how do you think that's going to make me feel? Then I see them not only they assault a police, but they took the police down and didn't give a fuck. They kept going, even with the second police involved. Does that not, like, for criminals out there, right? For folks that do this for a living, that shows that them police officers are not as strong as they really say they are or they pretend to be. So then what does that say for all the criminals who don't give a fuck? Because what you're not going to do, I'm going to tell you this now. If I was a criminal, I'm going to keep it a buck. You ain't finna be arresting me for no goddamn assault on a police officer without a discrimination case coming behind you, because how the fuck do you let these motherfuckers go off on a PR bond? They ain't even from this country. You let them go. Now the conversation is that they may have fled to Cali so that they can cross the border. So now they ain't never gonna face repercussions for what they did, but you think you're gonna lock me up for years on end because I assaulted some? No, that ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work. I don't believe that video should have been released to the public. It's just my personal opinion. I understand people were recording, but in my opinion, that is not a video that people really should have seen. Because what it does, especially in this time, is it sets a precedence for how things should be. And the problem is, it's only going to get worse. What these men show is that they don't care about lawless. They don't care about authority. They don't care for laws, right? You see the dude when he got out of jail and he's flipping everybody off. They don't give a fuck. It's the same thing. I was watching a show on TikTok with these migrants, right? And I say migrants because I'm trying to be politically correct for the sake of YouTube, but I don't think my channel's that big enough to give a fuck. But I'm just saying. I was watching this video where these folks, clearly the guy was going ham. He was pissed off, right? It was a shelter guy. He was super upset, super angry with the migrants, and he got up and threw one of the migrants' food away. Next thing you know, these dudes, and they're grown-ass men. When I say grown-ass men, they're big. Like, they look like they was in a prison, right? Throwing shit, start literally destroying shit behind this one incident. And I mean, the entire shelter, flipping over tables, throwing drinks, foods, chairs. And all I can think of is the scenes that I see in places like Germany, right? Different places where they have allowed these folks to come in. Well, I don't know if it's allowed, but I mean, these folks are coming in and destroying shit, setting cars on fire, right? All types of crazy ass shit happening. False flags, freaking, terrorist attacks, all types of shit. So all I'm thinking is they just let a bunch of men come in this country. I mean, a bunch of men, because that's the majority of people who came here. It wasn't like people like women and children. That's a red flag number one. You got men coming to this country that do not have any sort of respect for this country. It just is what it is. And you talking about how you ain't living the American dream. And I told you guys how I feel about these fuckers helping these people. When you got people out there saying, oh, well, they shouldn't have, barbed wire at the border. Like, people are really arguing this stupid ass shit. So do you need to get hurt by one of these fools so you understand why it's so imperative that these folks be vetted before they come? When you've got people who are seeking quote unquote asylum and they beating up cops, that ain't cool, homie. That ain't what's up. And shame on that judge who gave them a fucking PR bond. Like, how the fuck do you give? See, a PR bond should only be given in the instance that you can trust the person's word, their integrity, stuff like that. You don't even know these motherfuckers. They probably couldn't even speak the goddamn language, but you over here giving them a PR bond? What? So you believe that they weren't a risk? A flight risk? Huh? How so? How, Sway? When they walked over here, they walked. And they probably came, some of these folks are coming from many miles away. How are they not a flight risk? How are they not? So that judge wasn't thinking, because what that judge really don't understand is, as a black man, I'm just saying, if I was really a criminal and I seen that shit, you couldn't tell me nothing, nigga. Real shit. Because how dare you? How dare you? I'm an American, but you over here giving PR bonds for something you would lock my ass up and throw the book at me for. Make it make sense. So this is where I'm at with this thought. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.